Good afternoon, co-chairs Tong and Kissel and Ranking Member Rabimbis. I'm State Representative Gary Byron, and I'm here with Newington's Police Chief Steve Clark. We are here in support of House Bill raised 5559. My testimony has been previously submitted, therefore I am going to yield my time this afternoon to our Police Chief, Stephen Clark.
Good afternoon. I'm here this afternoon to speak in support of Bill 5559. As a 32-year veteran law enforcement, I'd worked during the late 80s, early 90s when the crime rates were at their highest. Since then, the crime rates have steadily declined through the combined efforts of law enforcement, policymakers such as yourselves, and most importantly, the public that we serve. However, over the last years, I've noticed an alarming increase in car burglaries and stolen cars committed by juveniles. The juveniles have no fear of the police or engaging the police in high-speed pursuits. Recently, Newington officers were attempting to stop a stolen car with stop sticks, which was driven by a juvenile. The juvenile drove toward two Newington officers, missing them only by a few feet. The officers had very little time to react and did all they could just to get out of the way of the stolen car. In another incident, a Newington resident was practicing golf shots on the grounds of an elementary school when he was approached by two juveniles who were armed with a Glock semi-automatic pistol. He was forced into his car at gunpoint and made to drive the juveniles to the nearby CT Fast Track bus station, where he was told to get out. The juveniles then fled with the car down the busway and, after a police pursuit, crashed the stolen car. Over the last few years, motorcycles and ATVs riding in packs of 25 or more have caused havoc in and around the town of Newington. The riders have placed other motorists and pedestrians in danger of serious injury while operating recklessly and baiting police into pursuits. Some of these riders are juveniles who operate stolen motorcycles and ATVs. The department was flooded with complaints from local residents demanding something be done. In 1 year, we spent over $20,000 of taxpayer money in overtime to combat this problem and sought assistance from the Department of Homeland Security for use of their helicopters to provide close air support. These incidents demonstrate how brazen some juveniles have become. They see no accountability in the juvenile justice system and have openly bragged to Newington officers that they will be back on the streets soon after their arrest. Research has shown that residents are harmed more by the fear of crime than by actual victimization of crime. As Chief of Police, who is very active in my local community, I'm hearing an escalation of that fear, which is largely due to what residents have experienced, read on social media, and seen on the news. When people see on the news that an innocent bystander was killed or seriously injured by a juvenile operating a stolen car, it raises their fear. When they hear about juveniles kidnapping and robbing a local resident at gunpoint, it raises their fear. When they hear about car breaks and stolen cars taking place in their neighborhood in the middle of the night while they sleep, it raises their fear. When a mother and her young daughter get caught in the crosswalk surrounded by 25 motorcycles and ATVs, it raises their fear. This bill does not stand in the way of the kids that benefit from juvenile review boards, restorative justice practices, probation, or other alternative interventions. These programs are a product of needed juvenile justice reforms and are very beneficial. This bill focuses on juveniles who have a total disregard for the law and for the juvenile justice system and who have a proven track record for committing serious crimes and injuring innocent people. This bill holds them accountable in a way that they should be. I think we've reached a tipping point that when we don't hold juveniles accountable, it fosters delinquent behavior. I would also argue that flawed public policy and the government's inability to deliver services contributes to that delinquency. I understand that drafting public policy is complicated.
Chief. If you could just wrap up.
I'm all set.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate your patience. Any questions? Representative Cummings.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, Chief, for coming out today. And thank you, Representative. Are you seeing an increase in repeat juvenile offenders in your community?
Not in our community. I know some of the juveniles that we've arrested have been arrested in other communities, but specifically to the town of Newington, no. But they've been involved in similar crimes in some of the surrounding jurisdictions.
So these are not a kid that goes out one time and makes a stupid mistake. These are people who have done this over and over again.
Correct.
Thank you.
Further questions? Ranking member.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and good afternoon. I just, more so of a comment, just want to thank you for your testimony. I think your testimony was right on point and hit a lot of and dispelled a lot of the notions that was raised earlier in our 2.5-hour debate. So I definitely appreciate the time that you came up here because, again, I mean, to have law enforcement go above and beyond the work that you already do. And there's a lot of work that you guys do, and I know it firsthand that has to do with preventative and going to the root causes and trying to assist in any way possible. But to say that you guys are then responsible, that you're trying to do positive legislation to the detriment of something else, that's not it. We're up here as legislators. That's our job to work with the local community leaders in any way possible to continue those good efforts. But certainly I think this is a positive legislation, and I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Further questions? Thank you.